to another episode of the Barley, Hops, and Yarn podcast. My name is Jennifer. I'm the face behind Barley, Hops, and Yarn. This podcast is primarily a knitting podcast. Sometimes I show off yarns I have dyed. Sometimes I talk about pattern reviews. Sometimes I take you on a vlog through working through whips and things like that. But today is just going to be a regular podcast episode with the format you're accustomed to with most knitting podcasts. I always feel like I'm missing something in my intros, but that's really all I have. I think that's what I normally say. But anyway, we'll start. So first thing I have is, if you watched my last episode, I took you on a vlog of I think it was a little bit longer than a week of going through some whips that I was pretty close to finishing and finishing those up. So one that I technically sort of kind of finished but didn't weave in the ends or do the crotch of the pants or anything was my Little Bear set. So, and that's by Ainhoa Sanchez. This is the sweater part of it. So you can see it has a cute little bear face embroidered and then little ears to go with it. And then these are the pants that I have finished. So I had finished them last time minus the sewing up the crotch and weaving in ends. So I have since done that. The pattern itself calls to have little paw prints on the knees, but I am not doing that for a couple of reasons, partially because I'm lazy. But I will go into more detail on this project when I do a project review episode or a pattern review episode of it. So that'll be coming up in the next, I don't know, month or two. So yeah, one down. And then my other finished object are socks. I have two socks, which I'm very, very excited about. Took me 7 months to knit them. Sorry, my ankle itches. Took me 7 months to knit them, which is ridiculous for a pair of socks, but I haven't had my sock mojo, and I've been trying to get my sock mojo back, and I think I might finally be there, or at least I hope I am, because of an upcoming project that we'll get to in a little bit. But these are just your standard vanilla socks. It's a self-striping yarn. The yarn itself, oh, I forgot to talk about the yarn on the other thing. I'll pull it up in a second. The yarn itself is Biscotte, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, yarns, and they're Biz Sock base, and the colorway is Hudson's Memories. I got it on sale at Magpie Yarns, not Magpie Fibers, different companies. Magpie Yarns in Charlottesville, Virginia, when we went down over the holidays for a visit. And the yarn just reminds me of a sweatshirt that we got for my boyfriend in Ireland. It's a Steelers sweatshirt, boo Steelers, but he's a fan, so, you know, I hate them. I'm from the Baltimore area. I have to hate them, so I do hate them, but I will at least make him socks that look like a sweatshirt. We'll go with that. And yeah, I use 2.5 millimeter needles. I use 9-inch circs because I like those best. And for him, because he has a larger foot than I do, I did a 72 stitch round. Regular heel flap and gusset, nothing too fancy there. And yeah, we have socks. Back to this other project, since I forgot to talk about the yarn itself. This yarn, they're both King Cole brand, so they're both acrylic yarns, I believe. This is Country Tweed DK and the colorway Oatmeal, and then the embroidery is just some sort of charcoal yarn I had in stash. It's probably Tempting You, EWE, in Catonsville, Maryland, but I'm not positive. That is my local yarn store that has more than just their own yarns in stock. Magpie Fibers, the other Magpie, is my other local yarn store, but as far as I know, they pretty much only have Magpie, and maybe they have some Madeline Tosh, but I think they only have Magpie. Could be wrong, haven't been there in a little while. Anyway, that's a tangent. And then the pants are King Cole Baby Comfort DK, and this colorway is called Mustard. I got both of these yarns at a shop in Florida. Don't remember which one. Also on sale. They were either $3 each or $1.50 each. So all in all, this project, I don't remember how much the pattern costs. We'll say the pattern cost $10. So like max I spent on this project, not including the buttons on the back, which are expensive and I will be reclaiming them for a different project. Max I spent was like 15 bucks on this project altogether, which is exciting. That's great. Okay, we're gonna take a beer break because I have not done this in a while, done a little beer review. This is a first one for me to try. Of course, there's like a glare on the can. Is there a way to that's not helpful if I put my hand in front of it. I don't know how to make the glare go away. It's just the lighting I have, I guess. This is Victory Brewing Company. They have like all the monkey ones. They have like golden monkey, sour monkey, other monkeys. And this is a fruited sour triple, if you're gonna say it the American way, which I am. So it says ale with raspberries and other natural flavors. So let's see how this is. Tastes like ale with raspberry and other natural flavors. There's a slight bitter aftertaste to it, which is probably the triple. I expect it to be slightly more sour, but it has just kind of, hold on, let me take another sip. Yeah, it's just kind of like a fruit juicy flavor, which is it's not bad. I like it, it's good. It's just not like pucker your lips sour. It definitely tastes more like a beer that has some fruit in it, not a sour, which makes sense because it's a triple, if you'd like to be fancy, which still isn't probably technically correct. Anyway, 9.5% ABV if you want a heavy drink. If you want a heavy beer, go for a quad or a triple or like a double IPA or something like that. I don't know why I felt the need to tell you all that, but I did, so whatever. Okay, beer is down. Onto whips. I am still working on my Fireflies. Don't remember who that's by. I remember it's a name I don't really know how to pronounce. Löthgren, something like that is the last name. Löthgren? I don't know, I'll put it down below. I'm not going to show it off because I have not done any process on it at all. Maybe like 3 stitches, that doesn't count. The main whip I have been working on since finishing my socks and my last episode, that's the words I was looking for. My last episode is my Evangeline blouse. So last time you all saw this, it was front and back panels. Smack myself in the face with ends. Front and back panels done. I had picked up to, oh man, I took my marker out. Damn. Oh well. I had picked up to do the neckline and I had done that. And then I decided that I felt like it was a little bit too short in the front, so I was going to pick up and add some length. I had said that I was just gonna make the ribbing longer, but I decided not to do that. I decided to go ahead and do it proper-ish. You'll see the ish in a minute. And go ahead and add length to the stockinette and then redo the ribbing, which was fine. All in all, not a big deal. But you see how it's kind of puckering in a little bit right here? Yeah, I forgot to change my needle size. So all the stockinette is done on a US size 6. I don't remember the millimeter for that, but a US size 6. And then you do the ribbing in a size 4. And I just totally, oh, you can't, there you go, now you can see it. I just totally forgot to switch my needle size back up. So I did 1 row in the size 4, did like 1/4 of a row, and then went, this is wrong. I think this is wrong. So tanked back that 1/4 of the row, didn't feel like going back and re-knitting the 1 row I had already done. So just left that as is, and you know, it'll block out, right? Everything blocks out in knitting. We'll see. So I redid that and I'm happy with it. The length is a little bit more what I wanted it to be. It's still slightly more cropped than I wanted, but it is the appropriate amount of cropped for the pattern itself. So I could have added length, but then I would have had to buy another skein of the Silk Surrey blend I'm using. And I didn't want to do that because I used almost exactly 2 skeins. I have 4 grams left over, I believe. And yeah, I wasn't going to buy another skein just to add a little bit of length. But yeah, that brings me to talking about the yarn because I keep forgetting to do that. So I am out of the Silk Surrey, so I can't show it to you in skein/hank form. But the Silk Surrey blend I'm using, I'm just going to hold this here. Silk Surrey blend I'm using is, or I used since I'm done with it, is Yarn Jam Surrey Halo Base, which again, Silk Surrey blend. Don't know how many times I can say it. Maybe I'll count while I'm editing. And that colorway was called Seafoam. And then the other yarn I'm using is, I still have this left and I probably won't use it, is a Madeline Tosh. It is Tosh Merino Light. And the colorway is Frontier Stars. It's slightly blurry. You're just gonna have to take my word for it. This is, I want to say it's like, it's not 100 grams. It's like a weird 114 or something like that. But it's 420 yards, which I suppose doesn't make that much sense for the fact that it is listed as superfine and it's a merino light. I don't know. This pattern itself calls to use a sport weight yarn or 2 lace held double. My mind can't wrap itself around the fact that 2 lace held double equals sport weight, because to me 2 lace held double should equal fingering. But I also go back to people use in some patterns like 1 strand of mohair, 1 strand of fingering, or 1 strand of DK. And I'm like, that doesn't add up in my mind either. Because shouldn't it be 2 strands of fingering add up to DK? None of it makes sense to me. I don't know. But I did do a gauge swatch, which I almost never do, and I got gauge. So whatever. Got gauge with using a fingering and a lace weight. So we're going with that. Anyway, back to the project. So I have reknit that stock, or I've added on that stockinette, I've reknit the ribbing, and then I have done, it's kind of hard to show you right now, but there is a lace panel on the side. So I have picked up along one side and done 1 lace panel, bound that off. So now I just have the other side lace panel to do. Does this? No, because the bind off is like weird and ruffly. It's a picot bind off, which I suppose is not weird and ruffly, but I feel like it's weird and ruffly. And then I have to seam the 2 sides together. It's a thing. Again, I'll do a pattern review podcast on this one as well. I lost my train of thought. Oh, so I still have to pick up on the other side, do that lace panel, which it took me 3 days to do that first lace panel, which isn't terrible, but I can definitely, if I sit down and do it, I can definitely do it in faster than that. Boyfriend's home, he's sitting outside, you can't see him, but you can see my pretty hibiscus bush with there we go, a hibiscus blossom. There are a few, but that's like the best one. Again, weird. That's the best one you can see. Again, with the tangents, sorry. Okay. Lace panel, seam together. All I have left to do, weave in the ends I haven't already woven in, block, will be good. So, goal is to finish this. I was hoping to finish it by this week, but it's already Friday, and I haven't even picked up that lace panel, and tomorrow is a very full day, so that's not happening, but I'm gonna say by next week so that I can block it, bring it on vacation. We're good. All right. Then I'm gonna go real quick to past Jennifer to talk about some upcoming projects I have, because I don't have the yarn in skein form anymore, and we all know that's the best way to show it off as opposed to in cakes. So I was gonna say I'll see you in a second, but this is all pretty continuous for you, so past Jennifer. All right, hello from past me. There's a baby on the ground, so if I'm looking down, it's because I'm looking at the baby. Anyway, hello from past me. It's only a couple of hours past, but past is still past. I am checking in from here because I am going to cake up some yarn and I wanted to show it to y'all in their skein form as opposed to having to show you in their cake form. And I am setting up a kind of studio location for dyeing and doing business stuff. So I'm setting up my Swift and cake winder here. So first upcoming project is going to be with this yarn here. I love it so much. I dyed it myself and I cannot recreate it. So it's not going to be one that I ever stock. That's not the right word. Yes, it is. Sort of, kind of. Anyway, I had to take a hiatus from dyeing because when I was pregnant, I was on weight restriction, like lifting restrictions. Then I had a C-section, still on lifting restrictions. So because it had been so long before I went back into dyeing, I really wanted like my first dye to just be something fun, something I didn't have to worry about taking notes, writing down recipes, recreating things, anything like that. So this is what I came up with, or I guess what the result was, because I didn't come up with it, I just did it. So it's this really, really pretty teal color and I love it. So I have decided with that yarn, I am going to make a shawl for my mother-in-law for Christmas. Hopefully it's done by then. And the shawl I'm going to use the pattern I'm going to use is the Hipster shawl by Locatelli. It's a DK weight shawl and it should be good quantity of yarn wise with what I have. The second project that I have upcoming to cast on is going to be a pair of socks. I'll be using Red Truck Fiber Company, and in their sock base, it's an 80-20 blend. Sorry, I try not to cover my face, I'm not always great about that. 80-20 blend in the colorway Fangorn. So Fangorn Forest from Lord of the Rings. Thought it would pair very, very nicely with the Spruce socks. I can't remember, I left all of my podcasting notes at home since that's where I'm doing the other part of this podcast. So I can't remember exactly who the pattern is by, but I will be sure to have it written up here and then also have it in the description box down below so y'all can easily find it. And then tomorrow we are going to go see Spider-Man in theaters. Now, technically, it's tomorrow for me, but it'll be, by the time this gets uploaded, I will probably be finished watching it. But I like to have a project to knit on at the movie theaters, as many people do. Technically, I could work on my Fireflies sweater since that's just on the stockinette of the body, but I'm afraid that's going to be a little bit too big of a project. I don't want to potentially disturb the person sitting next to me. Hi. I don't want to potentially disturb the person sitting next to me with like knitting on a larger project or anything. I'm probably overthinking that. Hi, buddy. I'm probably overthinking that. It's not a big deal, but I've decided I need something smaller to work on. So this yarn is also Red Truck Fiber Co. He has a blind date with yarn, which is like a play on blind date with a book. So it comes in this little burlap sack thingy, and I don't have the tag like I should, but you know, is what it is. I don't have the tag like I should, but on the tag it has like a little sort of, you know, hint as to what the book might be or genre, little phrase or something. I think this one said something like she makes deliveries with her talking cat or something like that. You got me right there with talking cat, already down for it. And then inside it has the yarn, obviously, which I'll show you in just a second. And the page, like a printed out page that has the name of the book. In this case, it's a book and a movie. And then just like a description, a little written description of like what the book is, why he was inspired by the book, what the colors are that he chose, why he chose those colors, etc., etc. So this is, again, Red Truck Fiber Co. and his worsted base, and the colorway, he's called it Broom. So he says the main skein is Seaside, which is a gorgeous tonal blue inspired by the sea. And since, of course, it's a tonal, you're gonna have some light and dark and all of that in there. Then this mini skein here is Sand, which is designed to reflect beach sand. And then this skein here is called Kiki, because this, I don't know if I said it out loud or just showed it on the screen, but this was inspired by Kiki's delivery service. So this is Kiki. Apparently in the, I guess in the movie, her black robes are not actually black. And then the splash of rain, that's not the right word. Splash of red is for a bow she wears in her hair. So I had never read this book before, actually hadn't even heard of it. So I did get the book from the library and I read it, and it's really, really cute. The way I described it to my friend is it's kind of like a collection of short stories about Kiki, but it like follows a timeline. But like each chapter is its own little short story. So it was pretty nice to be able to kind of break it up chapter by chapter and not, you know, no chapters leaving on a cliffhanger where it's like you have to read the next one or anything like that. So I really enjoyed it. I plan to watch the movie at some point. I have to figure out where it's streaming. I had been planning to watch the movie while I cast it on. Maybe I'll do that tonight, but there's a baseball game on, so I'll probably do that instead. And I'm thinking, I haven't decided yet, but I'm thinking of doing the entire hat in the blue and then making a pom-pom with these two skeins. Because I should backtrack. I'm making this for my daughter. So if I were making it for me, wouldn't be doing a pom-pom. But since I'm gonna make this for my daughter, pom-poms are good. So I might do that, but this is a lot of yarn to make a pom-pom. So obviously I'd have some left over. So there's a chance that I'll put a little bit of striping in, but I haven't decided yet. So we'll see. I'm probably gonna just follow the photographer hat pattern or kind of base what I'm doing off of that, since one, I haven't memorized, and two, it's a really, really simple, just like formula. I use it as formula to a hat. But yeah, so keep y'all updated on this one and we'll go from there. All right, back to current future, Jennifer. Okay, so back to future Jennifer. We went over the Spruce socks. I did not tell you who that was by because I couldn't remember. By Originally Lovely, who is Kaitlin Blessing, if my note's down here. And then Hipster, Shawl, and the photographer hat. Oh, and then I was going to tell you guys about the jelly roll that I am planning on making. So this year I made my knitting bingo, because that's the thing instead of the make 9, but also I'm not going to keep up with the make 9 anyway, so knitting bingo is more fun. In my knitting bingo, I wanted to make my own advent because I have lots of scraps and I'm like, I don't need to buy an advent if I have scraps and can make it myself. So I was going to start doing that, and I bought like little brown bags to put yarn in to make it a surprise and everything. And then I was looking at my scraps and like, I have a lot of scraps and I don't really feel like curating scraps that go well together. I could do that. I have enough scraps to like mesh and go well and everything, but I just don't have the brain power for that right now. So, and I knew I wanted to make a scrappy blanket of some sort. So I decided to pivot. And I also knew that I needed a car project of some sort, because usually I keep a project in the car, so that way if we're doing anything more than like a 20-minute car ride, I can just pull that out and it just lives there, so I don't have to worry about it, and I don't have one right now. So I decided I was going to go ahead and I was going to reskein all of the yarn I have that was scraps, because it doesn't need to sit in balls, and I don't know, I just felt like doing it. And then I put them all in little brown bags so I can't see what's inside of it. So I don't even know how many I have. I didn't count. I could count. I don't feel like counting. We'll say I have 40 things no, I definitely have more than that. 70? I don't know, but I have somewhere between 40 and 70, we'll say, of these bags. I don't know what's in, I know what's inside of them, but I don't know between bag to bag to bag which is inside of them. So I am going to probably have my daughter randomly pull them as I need them, and then they're going to go into a jelly roll blanket. I'm excited just for like the randomness of it all, especially with having my daughter pull it, so that way she's, involved. She's really obsessed with being a teacher helper right now, so that just means she wants to constantly help with things, even if it's not something she can really help with. So this is a way for her to be involved and help. And then we are going on a road trip to Milwaukee, Wisconsin in the late middle of August. So I am planning on bringing this as one of the projects to work on. So I'm just going to have my daughter fill a little tote bag of these and then see how far I can get on the car ride for the portions I'm not driving. So yeah, that is my other upcoming project that Past Me didn't talk about. I really want to open it just because I'm holding it, but then that defeats the purpose because I'll have to put it back in a bag. So anyway, you all get the idea. So yeah, this is the thing I'm excited for. Yeah, for the most part, that's really all I have. Like I said, we're going to Wisconsin a little bit later on, I guess this month, since I'm putting this up in August, for a wedding. So that'll be, and we're driving just because we're taking both kids, and my mother-in-law is coming with us. So it'll be easier and cheaper than flying with 4 people. So I'm excited to see how much knitting I get done there. I've already kind of scoped out some yarn stores in the area, so I know where I'll be stopping. I'm hoping to be able to stop at the Fangirl Fiber store, but I don't know if I'll be able to because they have, 1, not posted their August hours yet, and 2, it just kind of is going to depend on travel plans throughout the day. I've tried to look up some yarn stores like along our route, but then I realized that the route I was looking at is not the route we're going to take. So I need to like go back to the drawing board for that, which is fine. I mean, researching yarn stores is fun, so whatever. And then, yeah, so I did not say this at the beginning of the episode because I forgot, but I am doing a giveaway this episode. Absolutely no idea if anyone's going to be interested in it or not, but if you are, yay. I am giving away this skein of mohair. So it's from Wool and Vinyl. It is mohair metal, so 72% kid mohair, 48, that's too many percents, 28% silk, 459 yards per 50 grams, and this colorway is called Soul Sacrifice. It's a pretty good representation of the color. I had a garment knit with this. It was a rocket tee, so it was knit with this and then another blue yarn. Y'all have probably seen it on the channel if you've watched past videos. And I was wearing it at the Staunton Fiber Fest that I was vending at, and then later on, like partway through the day, I noticed that my son had kind of a rash on his body a little bit. I was like, huh, that's weird. I wonder what's causing that. And then during the car ride home, we had to pull over so he could eat and diaper change, all that, you know, normal baby stuff. And I noticed that he, at that point, had like full body rash and hives. So I was like, I think he might be allergic to mohair. So let that calm down. It wasn't like bad enough that he had to go to the doctor or the hospital or anything. It was just more of like he had hives and a rash on his body. And then the other day when I knew that I'd be holding him, but for a short period of time, because we like went out to dinner, I put that top back on, and sure enough, didn't get full body, but he did get some hives again. So unfortunately, my son appears to be allergic to mohair, which means I can't use this in anything. Or I mean, I could, but then I can't use the finished object until he's old enough that I'm not constantly holding him. And then it's like, you know, will I even like that item at that point in time? Do I want to hold on to it for that long? No, because I'm trying to kind of decrease some of my stash anyway. So all of that being said, I am giving this away to anyone within the US because I'm sorry, I don't want to ship internationally. I don't get very many views on my channel, so I don't really expect there to be many people that want this, but if you do want it, leave a comment with a song that you're currently listening to on repeat. Since it's Wool and Vinyl, I feel like that's fitting. Or a favorite song from your childhood. Let me know which it is, if it's a childhood song or it's one you're listening to on repeat, but I think that could be fun. Again, I don't really anticipate many people wanting, well, no, that's not the right way to say it. I don't anticipate many people interacting because my channel is still so itty bitty small, but you know, if more than one person wants it, I will let the random generator randomly pick, and that is going to be the criteria to enter. Just tell me a song. Yeah, so that's all I've got for today's episode. If you have stuck around for the entire thing, thank you so much for doing so. I really appreciate it. Like I said, I'm still an itty bitty channel and I'd love to grow some more. An easy way to help me do that is to subscribe to the channel, like or comment, or do both. I won't be mad if you do both. If you're new, thanks for joining me. And if you're not new, you're coming back. Thanks for sticking around and joining for my shenanigans every week. But with that, have a great whatever this is, morning, afternoon, evening, Saturday, weekday, who knows? And I'll see you on the next video. Bye.